I'm Kristen Andre, founder and chief strategist of Andre Consulting Group. I founded my company almost 10 years ago because I love helping people not only succeed, but thrive in their careers and their lives. So many times I meet amazing people who have so much more potential than what they're utilizing. As I engage with them, there seems to be a common theme: the limits they place on themselves. Throughout this podcast series, we're going to visit some incredible people who have created more intentional lives for themselves, those who've had that no limits moment where they chose to grow and they put things in motion to help them do so. We will focus on how you can break through limits. We will equip you with strategies to help you lead a more intentional life, and we will have a lot of fun along the way. So let's dive in. Hi, everyone, and welcome to No Limits with Kristen Andre. We are here today with Tommy Breedlove, who is the founder of Choose Goodness. So welcome to the show.
Thank you. It's good to be here. Yes.
Awesome. So this is the first time Tommy and I met, so I'm getting to know him a little bit, and I checked him out online, did a little cyber stalking beforehand. You've got a very interesting background. So
Yes.
You came from the corporate world.
Big time. Yeah.
And then just said, this isn't for me.
I said it wasn't for me.
Yeah. All right. So give us a little background on you.
Yeah. So I spent 20 years in large financial consulting, public accounting, mergers and acquisition firms. Professionally, I grew up at Deloitte.
Okay.
I was recruited out of there, went to a large German firm. It's actually one of the largest firms in Germany, and was recruited from there to a regional, southeastern regional public accounting, financial consulting, M&A firm to help run their international practice.
Okay.
And I came from good, solid blue-collar beginnings in South Atlanta. And at 36 years old, coming from more humble beginnings, not from we weren't poor, but we didn't have a lot of money and all that. Right. So I thought the American dream was about success, ambition, making as much money as you can. And what I didn't realize at 36 years old, I was a principal in the firm, and I looked up and behind me, and I was that guy who was working 90 hours a week.
Yeah.
Wearing all these masks: tough guy, can't ask for help guy, arrogant guy, important guy. And I looked up, and basically my marriage was in shambles. I was unhappy and unfulfilled in life. And so I went on this huge transformative journey. I was like, why do I feel the way I do? Why, when I'm talking to 1,000 people or doing a big deal, do I feel like I'm the only one in the room?
Right.
And just not good enough, even though everything around me, I've got all the bells and whistles and things that I thought were supposed to make me happy. So I went on this transformative, I'm doing a very fast job here.
That's
So
right.
I went on this transformative journey and just really introduced myself back to myself, both emotionally, mentally, spiritually, physically, and became the man that I wanted to be. Because before that, if there was like this list of 100 things not to do, I checked off like 90 of them. And I'm like, this is really not what being a human or being a man or being a professional is all about. So I decided to redo my life. And the most amazing thing happened to me when I went on this journey is from friendships to opportunities to just abundance and goodness that appeared in my life just by living my truth and living to be the man I wanted to be. Financially, and since this is a business show, financially and business-wise, I went from principal to international practice leader to senior partner to elected to the board of directors at 39 years old, just by being a good leader, a good man, a good human, and it manifested itself in all facets of my life, from friendships to opportunities to business. But I knew at 39, when I was in my first board meeting, it didn't take me but like 2 minutes to realize,
right,
I'm not going to do this anymore. This is not my life's calling. And it didn't matter the paycheck or the opportunity. It was just, I knew something deep down inside me from a value standpoint to what I wanted to be when I grew up standpoint, it wasn't for me. And over time, what I was supposed to be has fallen in my lap, because whether it's businesses or people who are looking to branch humanity and profitability, or just men or women looking to live with more fulfillment, meaning, significance, leave a legacy without compromising their ambition and financial success. So that's a really quick analysis of my professional career.
So it sounds like you had 3 years or so that you were doing this transformative work while you were still
Correct.
at your old position. Because a lot of times I'll hear people like, I don't want to do this anymore, and they walk out and they're done and that's it.
No.
And I'm always like, well, wait a minute, so you were able to do the work there.
Yeah, I was doing the work there. And, I made working on me my full-time job. I literally went from working 70, 80, 90 hours because I was doing business development, building the practice, managing the practice, to making me my full-time job, and my health my full-time job, and my mental and emotional stability, and just being the person, figuring out, who I am as a man and who do I want to be, and putting everything toward that.
Right. And
went from working, no joke, 80, 90 hours a week, 35, 40. And the business opportunities that came my way, the clients that came my way, the awards that the firm won. I mean, we beat UPS for the Global Impact Award. Yeah, our little firm beats UPS for an award, and it was all by recruiting the best people, being the best leaders, being the best. And it was just a really amazing transition for me as a human, as a man, and as a business leader, going from this place of tough guy, cool guy, all the masks that we wear in business, because we can't be ourselves, right? We got to put these masks on. When I took all those off and said, F it, I'm just going to be the man I want to be.
Yeah.
All these things have just happened in my life. Oh, it's crazy. And now it's ridiculous now, the things that come my way. So
I think
amazing.
That's awesome, though, because so many times, I work a lot of my private clients are in finance, and there are a lot of masks because you're expected to look a certain way, act a certain way, dress a certain way. There's a lot for the men and the women.
Yeah, totally.
But they're not always true to themselves, and I think that's where I hate to say disdain, but in a lot of cases it is. They just start to hate what they're doing. Yeah. Or even if they are doing it, it's like they're going through the motions.
Totally.
So after that first board meeting, you walked in, you're like, I'm done.
Well, it still took me a little while because I was scared.
Well, yeah,
I was scared that I was making great money.
Yeah. That's hard to walk away from.
It's really...
That was the biggest challenge for me when I launched my firm in 2009. And walking away, I was a managing director at the time, walking away from that, you're like... I don't know.
Am I going to live under a bridge?
Exactly.
Am I going to live under a bridge?
But that's normal because you worry about that. At the time, I had 3 kids. It's like, all right, do we feed the kids, not feed the kids?
You have more courage than I do. See, I don't have children, so that took a tremendous amount of courage.
It's tough, though, because I think you get to a point where like, I'm making an impact here, but I can have a broader impact here. Yeah. If I want to do that. So totally. So what kind of, after that board meeting, how'd you flip the switch?
So I went out, all these mentors and coaches started appearing in my life, and I was very nervous about leaving because, I put so much weight on money. But what I realized through this journey is no matter how much money I made, it didn't matter if it was $1 or $100 million. If you're not really content inside and fulfilled inside and really appreciate, love, respect yourself or who you are and what you stand for, the money's not going to make you happy. It certainly helps. Yeah. And I'm a business guy. I still sit on a lot of for-profit boards and love the game of business. But for me, I was still scared. I knew within that first 5 minutes, like, this is not the career for me. I didn't want to sell it anymore. I didn't want to run it anymore. It just wasn't for me. But it's a really great career for a lot of people. Yep. But it still took a lot of courage, a lot of time, and a lot of getting past that fear to figure out what did I really want to be in life and who do I want to serve and what's my higher calling that I can also work in my God-given talents, work in a place of purpose, but also make money doing it. And so it took a while to come through that, and it took a whole lot of positive affirmation and support from my community, my friends, my network. And even when I left, what I didn't realize, and I'll ask you this, is I didn't realize how difficult when you go from being the top, you know, you have the title, you're like Top Gun, right? Yeah. You're the fighter pilot, and you've got title of international practice leader and board member, and you're in charge to now I'm janitor and CEO. Yeah. And I don't have that, I don't have that external title anymore to make myself feel good. I didn't realize that was a big challenge for me too when I first left. And also am I good enough to do this on my own with all the resources of a big firm? So I had to face all of that, and I just pushed through it.
And I think there's a lot of times when people branch out and start their own thing. The title thing wasn't as big of a deal for me. I just picked a title that I thought sounded cool. I
needed it for my ego.
That's the good. But you can have the title. That's the beauty of launching your own firm. You can be whatever you want. Just, if you don't want to be the janitor, you're still going to be the janitor, but you don't have to put it on your card.
I kind of respect that.
You're kind of everything. But it is tough. And I think what helps, or at least what helped me, is had a huge support system. I mean, the partner in my firm, when I stepped down, he was one of the ones going, you can have such a big impact way beyond what you're doing here, and was so supportive of my venture into starting my own consulting firm. I mean, he was probably my biggest cheerleader at first, which I love. He was also my first client. Which was good as well.
That helps as well.
So it did help. I mean, it really helped because you do look at like, all right, I'm going from here to zero. how do I do it? So for me, I had a built-in client who was a huge support system, both as a client and as a friend and a mentor. That kind of helped. But I feel like it's the people around you during the early months and years that kind of help.
I totally agree with you. I unfortunately did not have that love and support from most of the folks at my firm. I did have one of my mentors and the guy that kind of tutored me up to the senior partner level. He even said, even wrote me an email, and this was coming from a place of love and protection of me. It wasn't meant in any bad way. He wasn't trying to be.
Are you crazy?
Yeah, that's exactly what he said.
Yeah.
I think the title of the email was "You're an Idiot."
Yeah.
And then, "Are you crazy?" And he was doing it from a place of love. You've worked this hard to get where you are, and you're good at what you do. But it's one thing to work in your zone of excellence, but to really work in your zone of brilliance or genius is when you use your God-given talents for a higher purpose to serve yourself and others. And so that's what was important for me. And they even were talking about some big numbers. Now, whether or not I would have ever earned those big numbers, I don't know, many huge numbers. Yeah. And I'm like, that could be just a carrot, but it wasn't about the money anymore, because truly it was just about, I really wanted to be of service to those who needed me.
And I think it's interesting, because being of service, I agree with you. That's you. I mean, part of what I love in the people I have the opportunity to work with is just, it's fun. I enjoy watching them succeed and get happy again and be successful financially, because I like it when they go hand in hand. But at the same time, you're kind of looking at, everybody and what's the impact I can make and what's everything. And I feel like there's a difference. I'm curious your input with males and females with that, because I know, and I coach a lot of very successful women that do well financially, but I don't know, as much as we strive to make great money and have financial success, I don't know that it's always our number one. Mm-hmm. But I think with the men that I have the opportunity to coach, it's a much bigger pressure for them. It's a much bigger priority to a lot of people, because that's how we all equate success that way. But I feel like for men, it's more important.
In general, I completely agree with you.
Yeah.
I don't want anyone. Please don't hate on me over Facebook, because I made a general comment. But I think in general, there's societal pressures. Right. I think there's fraternity pressures. I think there's the hunter provider. This thing that we've built around men. Yep. And I think men in general want to be respected. Yeah. And I believe from our society, our Western societies, respect comes with money and power. Yeah. And not that it's correct. Not that it's correct, not that it's wrong. But I think men in general, we crave respect of whatever type it is, whether it's in our marriage, with our families, or at business, or in our careers. And we equate money and power with respect. Yep. And that they really don't go hand in hand.
It's messed up.
It's messed up.
It is messed up. All right, so we're going to take a short break, and when we come back, we're going to dive in a little bit more to the Choose Goodness company that you're running now, and how we can all start to do that. So we'll be back in just a minute. Hey everyone, it's Kristen. Be sure and visit my website at www.andregroup.com. That's www.andreegroup.com. And while you're there, be sure to download my white paper, Top 10 Reasons Your Business Isn't Growing Fast Enough. Now get out there and create your no limits moment. Welcome back, everyone, to No Limits with Kristen Andre. We are here with Tommy Breedlove of Choose Goodness. And before the break, we were talking about a little bit about Tommy's story and his break from the corporate world, and really going from a high level position that was just a lot of hours and a lot of money, but also a lot of unfulfillment, and launching his own firm, stepping down from that. So let's dive into Choose Goodness. Tell us a little bit about what you guys do. Why I love the name, first and foremost. That's awesome. So what do you guys do?
So Choose Goodness, the name, that's an important one there. So Choose Goodness to me is more of a movement than a company, because there's companies underneath the movement. Yep. But Choose Goodness, the name, it's all about clear, confident, and courageous choices. Okay. Both in business and in life that serve yourself and your communities. And goodness for me means something different to every single human on earth. Goodness is just different. As long as it doesn't oppress or hurt someone else, goodness is good with us. So we're not political or religious. And so it's a bigger movement. It's about education. We were just talking offline. We do invest into startups that we believe in, both the cause, the widget, and the people.
Okay.
So there's a portfolio of startups that we've invested both cash and time, and we usually take board seats in that.
Okay.
But for me, my wife's got a part of that. She's written a book called Shine Your Bright. We have some big plans for her and I that'll be for another day.
Very cool.
But for me, my part of the movement, my part of the education is really helping humans be their best self. And so many folks come to me these days and there's like, I'm doing well in my career, but I know there's something missing.
Right.
I can't figure out what it is.
Yeah.
And is it a higher meaning? Is it a cause? Is it a purpose? My life seems good. Or sometimes they're like, things are going really wrong and I need help rebuilding myself. So my passion is helping people find that meaning and significance in life and really rediscover that zone of brilliance, their God-given talents that they can do in both business and life. And the important part, most of the folks I work with are very ambitious and they're very driven and, they like business. And so I do believe you can have it all in life without compromising your ambition, your integrity, or your financial success. And so it's really about finding a holistic way of living, because we'll spend so much in time investing in our businesses, investing in our careers, investing in the stock market, but we don't spend a lot of time investing in ourselves here and here.
Totally agree.
Yeah, and what happens isn't, I just did my head and my heart. I forgot we're also going to be on the radio.
Here and where?
Yeah, where and where now, dude? But the important part of that is it's one big stew, right? And I work with some women, but a lot of men.
Yeah.
And not working on that and constantly working on that respect career, it's killing a lot of us in a lot of different ways.
Yeah.
And it almost killed me twice. I mean, literally. And so this is more of a calling for me. It's a passion. I do it for myself, just to put on my big boy pants every day. I spend 2 hours working on me so that I can go serve others. So I do a lot of public speaking. I do a lot of professional coaching, executive coaching, and mentoring. I facilitate a lot of men's groups. And so it's really my passion to help men lead a life of significance. And so that's what's my calling in this life.
I think that's fantastic. And one of the things that you said that stood out to me is, to find your passion, your purpose, and also have financial success with it. And a lot of times I feel like people, when I talk with them, they're like, well, I'm doing this, for a paycheck, but I really want to be doing this. And people feel like it's mutually exclusive, that I can't have what I want to be and have, or be who I want to be and have the impact I want to have and still make money. And I think that's wrong.
It is wrong.
I think people can do it. But so how do you work with people? Is it just looking deeper in themselves to see what they really want? Because sometimes I feel like people start to know what they want, but they're afraid to
they're scared
commit.
to death.
Yeah.
And it takes, let me be clear, they're not alone. Step up, look in the mirror, and make any kind of courageous, it takes a lot of courage, any kind of change in your life.
Definitely.
Whether you want to change your career or change who you are, or you feel unhappy or unfulfilled, or I can't figure out why I'm envious and constantly looking out there. Yeah. Because, our media, our social media, and in business is constant comparison and competing.
Definitely.
We're always, I don't care who you are. It could be, I don't care if you're the president of the United States or one of the best motivational speakers or even Elon Musk. They're comparing and competing just because our society promotes it.
Yeah.
And so how I work with people is, one of the things we do is help them, really find that zone of genius using their God-given talents, really taking a deep dive into their purpose and passions, and figuring out if you take those two together and figure out what the world needs and how you can sell it, you really can combine them into an impact-related career. However, there are a lot of situations to where you can find that meaning, fulfillment in life, stay in your current career, and use alternative means to do that. Right. Absolutely. There's a whole lot of ways to do it. But people come to me, it's unfortunate. I wish they came to me before they hit some massive thing in their life, whether it's, being in a gutter or hitting rock bottom or going through a divorce or compromising their values, because, we're on this relentless chase for something more. And there's nothing wrong with wanting more, but you and I both know, from a financial standpoint, from an ambition standpoint, it's never going to be enough. Right. And that's okay.
Yeah. I mean, as soon as I hit something, I'm like, all right, what's next? What's next?
Yeah. And living in that moment of gratitude. So for me, sometimes I have to rebuild the human, and I love doing that. But again, that takes a lot of courage and a lot of, do you want to be the best leader, the best human, the best man that you can be? again, without compromising your ambition. And it's about refocusing, reshifting, prioritizing. And there's a whole lot of tools in my toolbox that we help people get to that point with.
That's very cool.
And I live it.
Yeah.
That's the only reason I know this stuff is because I live it.
That helps because people say, okay, look what you did this. And it's easier sometimes when you've been through it yourselves.
Yeah.
But it's not that you have to have gone through everything that your clients or your mentees are going through, but it helps to at least be able to relate and know what's going on.
Totally. Without judgment.
Absolutely. And I feel like that's a big thing. And certainly, in coaching and mentoring people, the judgment-free zone is what's the biggest thing because they're not going to open up and be able to share everything and say, here's what I need, here's where it hurts, and here's what I'm really struggling with if they don't trust you.
The bad news is in my situation, I can check almost all the wrong boxes.
Yeah.
So the way I get people to open up is, it is about story building and owning your own stuff, being accountable to your own stuff. And here are the tools, system, processes, mental, emotional, strategic, business things that I did to live where I am now. And I think when you are transparent, open with who you are, what you've done, and what you've done to overcome that, because we've all had our mistakes. We've all got our stories from our past. We've all done things we regret. We all had things done to us. Right. And we don't like to talk about any of that.
Right.
Because we like that it doesn't happen. But it affects everything we do and every decision we make. And we bring it home with us and we bring it to our business. Yep. And so what if we could live a balanced, holistic life of just love and goodness, man? I know that sounds woo-woo, but it's legit. It's total legit.
It sounds woo-woo, but you've got the business background. It's you combine the two, I'm good.
Indeed.
So we were talking about that earlier because I have a lot of friends in the coaching space, obviously, since I'm in the coaching space, and I'm a big strategy accountability person. And some of my coaching friends are more the woo-woo type. And and they're both great. Yeah. I mean, they both are great, but there is a blend of the two. Yep. Well, I'm a strategy person, and that's a lot of what we work on, but you have to incorporate the head and the heart in there. You really do. So totally. I've got to go a little woo-woo with people at times, because if they're not invested and if they're not really vulnerable and really doing what they want to do, you can put all the strategy in place you want to, but they're not gonna be happy.
Yeah, and I think that's in life, everything in life. And there's two things I want to say to that. When you can get in tune, when you get on sync mentally and emotionally, and you get out of that space of competing and comparing and envy and anger and all that, we all have unworthiness and insecurities. No, you're not alone. I don't care who you are, you've got them. But when you can get free from that and really concentrate in business and in life, a purposeful, meaningful life, your customers, your family, your friends, they'll become your zealots.
Oh,
they'll
absolutely.
forgive you. They'll spend more money with you. They'll spend more time. You'll be happier. Yeah. And the financial gains, the personal gains, the family gains, they're immense. So why would you not do that?
Right.
Why would you not invest in yourself? And so that's one thing I want to say. And it's interesting you brought up strategies and tactics. One thing, because you and I were both in the financial world, and I'm really, really good on the financial mergers and acquisitions and money side of things. I've just classically trained and really good at it. But I can give you all the strategies, tools, and tactics. But if money is also a belief system, it's a mindset, it's an abundance thing.
Yep.
And I'm about to go way off script here. I'm a firm believer, until you believe you're worthy of a lot more money and that you value yourself, and it's how you see money and how you see the world. Right. Money's never going to come to you in mass quantities. I know this.
Yeah, I agree with that. And it's also what money, what your mindset around it, what it means to you. Because to some people, it's significance. The amount of money I make is the amount, how significant I am. To some people, it's impact. To me, it's choices. It's what will that allow me to do for my family, for others, for, charitable causes that I believe in. And everybody's got a different connection with money. And
totally.
You're right. It's just
and
really
we've demonized
where they go.
it. It's just a tool. We can make it good or bad. And I know we're about to go on break, but let me be clear here. Money helps, but if you're an ass, it'll make you a bigger ass.
Absolutely.
If you're a really good person, it'll make you even a better person. And for someone who had lunch with a billionaire family a week ago, they talk about the things that you're talking about. They talk about fears and insecurities and want to be better people and want to be better family members. Right. And how can we use our money? If they're good people, how do we use our money for good? But money in itself, it helps. I mean,
Yeah.
you can buy nice shiny things and
Right.
go on cool
But
trips.
it's not changing self-esteem.
Nope,
It's not changing
esteem,
your heart.
and it's not
Yeah.
going to fulfill you. I promise you
Yeah.
that. Ask them. Don't
Yeah.
ask me.
Yeah.
Read the books.
It's it's true. It's definitely
Yeah.
true. So we're going to take a short break, and when we come back, we like to issue a challenge to all our listeners.
Yeah.
So we'll be thinking about that during the break, and we'll be back with you in just a few.
I love it.
Hey everyone, check out my podcast, No Limits with Kristen Andre, on Tuesday nights at 7:30. We will tackle the things holding you back and the limits you set on yourself and equip you with some strategies to lead more intentional lives. Podcast launches every Tuesday at 7:30 p.m. on facebook.com/Andre Group. That's facebook.com/ANDREE Group. We'll see you there. All right, welcome back, everyone, to No Limits with Kristen Andre. We are wrapping up our time with Tommy Breedlove of Choose Goodness. And before the break, we were talking about people and really how we're talking about kind of the limits and the fears and how scary it is sometimes to step forward.
Yeah, it's real scary.
Yeah, and I'd love to see people do more. I just love the Choose Goodness name. I think is nice, and it is a choice.
Oh,
the
everything's
choose
a choice.
is the part that stands out to me the most, because when I
Always.
hear it, I'm like, we've had people on the show and guests on the show that have had just major things happen, and they're the happiest people. And it's just like you're sitting there going, how with all this stuff going on?
Yeah.
And then you've got people like you or I or many of our clients that have these wonderful careers and
Yeah.
making great money, and it's just not fulfilling.
You said it best. And when we first started this, it was all about the goodness part of it. Then we realized that means something different.
Yep.
But choice, there's one thing that, and I read it with Viktor Frankl, Man's Search for Meaning, and all these other. I'm just a huge reader.
Yep.
And it's just come to me overwhelmingly that the only true power we have is the power of choice. In every single moment and every single second, do you choose to see the good? Do you choose to see the bad? Do you choose to be unhappy or happy? Do you choose to be respectful and love their neighbor,
Yeah.
or do you choose to just be? And I think so many people don't realize that you can choose.
Yep.
You can participate in your own rescue. You can choose in every single moment. You can choose gratitude, or you can choose, everything in life is a choice. And I think that's really powerful that you said that.
Yeah,
It's hard, though.
It is hard. It is hard because sometimes we know what we should be doing. We know we should choose goodness or happiness or kindness. I mean, choose kindness is a big thing too, and it just for some reason we don't do it. Or we don't always do it.
We don't always do it. We're
consistently as
human,
we
and we
should.
got to lighten up on ourselves. First of
Yeah.
all, we're human,
Yeah.
and that's why for me, to serve on the boards or the companies or to serve mankind or go speak, I have to spend 2 hours a day with all of my different tools. And I have a life of significance. It's a one-page document that I can share with you and your
cool.
audience
Yeah,
about
we'll post
how
it on
I
the
live
page.
my life.
Yeah.
And so it really for me is the first thing I invest in every single day between an hour and 2 hours a day
Okay.
is mental, physical, emotional, and spiritual health. And I have all these tools to do that. And so that's so that I can be conscious and be present and make positive choices in the best that I can. I still, I get
Yeah.
the Tommy go round. It happens.
Yep.
You get up in your brain and the squirrels start going and,
Yep.
and all that. But the choice is really the only power we have.
And I think that's good. And we talked about before the break that we issue a challenge to our listeners every episode, and we started a Facebook page, and it's hashtag No Limits Moment. So what we want people to do, instead of just listening to the show and going away going, that's great, thanks Tommy and Kristen, good info, and then walking away and doing nothing, we want to issue a challenge. We want people to actually implement. I'm an accountability person, so we started the page just so we could continue the conversation. So you hit on it right there with taking time for themselves. So what's our challenge to the listeners this episode?
Let's give them this challenge. Pick one thing in your life. It could be a relationship. It could be a family issue. It could be something you want to work on, a change you want to make, a career move, something in your business, any choice. Let's use the word choice since we're talking about
Got
choice.
it. Yep.
Whatever choice, and this is going to be difficult, let's start with 15 minutes because it's going to seem like a lifetime when you do it. Get quiet with yourself. Turn off the phone, turn off the TV, no kids, no significant
Close out
others,
Facebook.
no business. Close it all out just
Yep.
for this 15 minutes. You
Yep.
can go back to the Facebook page
We'll
after 15
post
minutes.
on it afterwards. Yeah.
Think about that one thing with a pad and paper, and every single thing that comes to you about that one particular topic, write it down.
Okay.
And if you can expand that practice over time, all the great innovators, all the great thinkers, all the great leaders, is they always spend between 30 minutes and an hour in their thoughts every day so that they can either innovate, make change, look within, but do it on a topic. It's 15 minutes. It's going to be harder than you think, but it can be life-changing if you implement it. And you can change the topic every day, or you can keep the same topic until you get it to where you want to be.
Okay.
But it takes a lot of courage, but you got to turn all the noise off.
So my guess is sometimes it's going to be things they need to improve.
Correct.
Sometimes it may be, or changes they need to make.
Or a decision they need to make.
Yeah. And other times I'm thinking it may be where thoughts and ideas for future opportunities, projects, what have you come into play.
Absolutely.
So let go of the outcome. Just say 15 minutes of my thoughts
What
on
comes,
this one
comes.
topic.
Yeah.
I like that. I think
What
that's
comes,
a good one.
comes. You'll be surprised at the innovation and changes and how when you get quiet with yourself, and it's a practice over time what comes up.
Yeah,
it's amazing.
because it's and I like the pad and paper piece
Yeah.
because I keep a lot of notes. Obviously, we all keep notes on iPads, phones, everything like that. And then I'll start doing that, and I'll be in thought because I'm a big personal development person and love it and feel like I spend a lot of time on that. But if I'm doing it on my phone and something pops up, it's the squirrel that kind of goes over there. So pen and paper.
Pen and paper.
Okay.
Yep.
And then just I like that. So challenge to everyone for this episode. Go in your thoughts. 15 minutes. Start with that. 15 minutes a day. Pen to paper and just see what happens. So until next time, thank you, Tommy,
Oh, you're so
for
welcome.
being with us. I appreciate it. And until next time, keep pushing through those limits.
I love it.